World War II was the largest event in human history. Not just the largest conflict, though it was certainly that. World War II was the largest event in human history. No part of the globe was unaffected. Over 65 million people were killed. The majority of those were civilians. An accurate calculation of the wounded, physically and otherwise, is impossible. The world as we know it today is largely defined by the events of yesterday, 1939 to 1945. My name is Kirk Sadusky, and we're at the National World War II Museum in New Orleans, Louisiana. I believe a genuine understanding of the political and cultural contours of the world we live in requires a grasp of the Second World War. Who was involved? Why did they fight? What was achieved? And what was the cost? And why, after 80+ years, World War II retains its influence on our lives, both politically and culturally. If you want to understand Israel-Palestine, Russia-Ukraine, China-Taiwan, North Korea, South Korea, you need to know about the Second World War. If you want to understand why there was a Cold War or why there is a United Nations, you need to know about the Second World War. If you want to understand what hate and fear can provoke, but also what love and courage can retrieve, you need to know about the Second World War. If you want to understand how and why the world developed the ability to destroy itself in a matter of minutes, you need to know about the Second World War. And you need to know about 1945, the final year of the war, and in many ways, the beginning of our modern world. In early 1945, the Red Army of the Soviet Union marched into a location of unique horror, Auschwitz-Birkenau, a destination designed solely for death. At the Yalta Conference held less than a month later, American President Franklin Roosevelt, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin negotiated the borders and boundaries of the post-war world. What they decided remains both consequential and controversial. In the Pacific, American Marines continued the climb toward toppling the militarist regime in Japan by assaulting Iwo and Okinawa. The combat was fought in primeval conditions and inconceivably savage. The fate of tens of millions was at stake. After coming to power at the same time in 1933, Franklin Roosevelt and Adolf Hitler died within weeks of each other in April 1945. It was as if their confrontation was fated. Hubris had met its nemesis. As the Nazi regime collapsed, the extent of their crimes was exposed to a horrified world. Dachau, Buchenwald, Bergen-Belsen were once just places. Since 1945, they are a stain, a stab in the heart of human decency. And then, the bomb, and the world would never be the same. On August 6, 1945, the United States dropped an atomic bomb on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. 2 days later, the US dropped another one on Nagasaki. They were the only two atom bombs in the American arsenal. In between these two raids, the Soviet Union declared war on Japan. A week later, Japan, like Germany, surrendered unconditionally. The war was over. But how do you repair a world so badly fractured? How do you feed and shelter millions? How do you call to justice those who ignited it all? And how do you make any sense of it all? You tell the story. World War II offers as dramatic and stark a contrast between right and wrong as the real world allows. Nothing illustrates what mankind can inflict, endure, and achieve more convincingly than the Second World War. That's why it's essential it always be studied. Good luck.